Namaste everyone. Today I'll be reviewing and reacting to Avatar, the way of water for you. And I refuse to call it Avatar and all those funny sounding Western pronunciations because, first of all, it's a Sanskrit word which pertains to how the incarnations of God come down to earth. The avatars of Vishnu or the avatars of other gods. And secondly, it sounds so pretentious, man. Avatar. Alright, so since I'm Indian and since this word has been, I won't say co opted, but inspired by the mythology of our great nation, I'm going to revert to its original pronunciation, which is Avatar. And I don't think it'll make a difference to the viewing of the movie or to your perception of how I perceive this movie. So let's get right into it. It's going to be a 3-hour, 12-minute movie. At first, I was going to live stream my live reactions to it, but then I thought, Advitya, my little baby daughter, will probably wake up in that meantime, and I might have to, pause the live stream or mute it. So I decided to edit my reactions together, and I hope you have as much fun watching this as I'm sure I'm going to have making it. Alright then, let's get on with the show. Oh, and right, as a postscript or a PS to the intro, I will say thank you so much to my 941 subscribers. You've made me really happy by helping me hit that 941 mark, which, being the Apple fanboy that I am, I love because it's the time that is shown on all Apple products when they are marketed, rather on all phones and I guess iPads when they are marketed. Because originally Steve Jobs, when he launched the first iPhone, he launched it at 9:41 a.m. Okay, so with that little trivia tidbit aside, make sure you smash that sub button for awesomax fun if you haven't already, and do check out my other videos if you've not subscribed to my channel. I'm sure you'll have awesomax fun. Alright, first things first, I like how the movie straight away gets into not the action but the setting, which is Pandora, of course, the planet which was explored and exploited by humans in the first movie. And just 20-30 seconds odd of the 20th Century Fox logo and the Lightstorm Studios or whatever logo is all the time that is wasted before we get into the floating mountains, right? Which were one of the most iconic introductions into Pandora's environment in the first movie. So Avatar, of course, is going to be a good watch. Alright, before I watch ahead, I wanted to say that the 20th Century Fox opening, the that one reminds me about the Simpsons movie opening, in which Ralph says it, or rather sings it in his very unique voice. I don't know who the voice actor is for Ralph, but good job, sir. Hats off, sir or ma'am. Who knows? Because I think Bart is still voiced by a lady, and just goes to show gender flipping goes every which way. Alright, on with Avatar. Alright, I like how within 20 minutes we've got a high stakes game set up by getting the children of the hero captured by the main villain. And the twist in the story, spoilers alert, is that one of the human children who are still on Pandora after the events of the first movie is actually the son of the main villain, Quaritch, who was a very excessively forceful soldier, because there is no other better word for it. I guess mercenary might be better. For the RDA, the corporation that is trying to obtain the unobtainium. So I'm guessing it's going to be a rescue mission as well, and they're going to get beaten down in the first wave, and then they have to recede into the waters of Pandora, and that is why the movie is the way of water. So let's see how true my prediction holds as the movie goes on. And Advitya is fast asleep, so I will leave her be at that. Okay, so right off the bat, I was mistaken about that. Turns out they only managed to take back the son of Quaritch, the main villain, and I guess they have in a holding cell right now, and it's going to be some sort of a psychological mind game, and they might find out some weak points about the stronghold of the Navi, who are, in case you're unfamiliar with Avatar, the protagonists, the native tribe of Pandora. Alright, so after a series of unfortunate events, which reminds me of Lemony Snicket, if you haven't checked out that book series, do check it out, it's very entertaining. As is the TV adaptation which stars Jim Carrey. Alright, but that tangent aside, after a series of unfortunate events, the Jake Sully family finds itself asking for asylum with the reef people, which is where I guess the way of water begins. So I'm glad that I had shared what I thought the movie was going to be like with you earlier in this review, because it has taken a sort of a dramatic and a more empathetic turn, and I guess now they will learn the way of water with the reef people and finally use that to their advantage in the final war against the sky people, the humans who have come to, like I said earlier, exploit the planet. Okay, so I guess this is where the CGI of the underwater will begin. Looking forward to that. So almost exactly 1 hour into the movie, we get the name drop. The way of water has no beginning and no end. I like it how it transfers to the circular economy or the circular way of industry that we are trying to explore to protect the environment and to get a sort of a zero waste or more of a reduce, reuse, recycle thing going in our current way that we live. And I think that is a very good underlying concept for this movie to have. Let's see if they manage to hammer home that point even further. Alright, so as is to be expected, the villain is terrorizing the nearby villages to find out where Jake Sully has gone, the hero, and it's leading to a lot of collateral damage. Thankfully, he has not killed any Navi yet, and there is also a very nice subplot building about the daughter of a scientist who was there in part 1, played by Sigourney Weaver, the unforgettable alien protagonist, not alien herself, but protagonist in the Alien movie franchise. So she has some sort of a direct connection with the Mother Nature, the Eva of Pandora. And these are the kind of subtleties and the subtext that actually set Avatar apart from usual science fiction. Talking about science fiction, I think it is one of the best ways to inspire the young generation to be aware of the impact that we have on our little blue-green planet and how to best reverse it. So one of the ways we can do that is by practicing zero impact travel. You can check that out in my Ladakh trip tour videos. I will just give you a very quick summary of it. Basically, you keep track of all your trash by having a collection bag with you in your vehicle as you travel through the Himalayas or through any eco-sensitive ecosystem, and dispose of it properly, just so that it reaches the proper channels of segregation, of reduce, reuse, recycle, and does not have any lasting impact, hence the name zero impact travel that I've given it, on the ecosystem that you're visiting. And it's as simple as that, because look, let's be practical. We are not going to stop visiting places just because it's going to have a negative impact on them, but we have to visit them in ways that are eco-friendly and in ways that impact them positively rather than negatively. And the first step to do that is zero impact. In fact, when I was at Hanle, which is the village at which India's highest astronomical observatory is, I noticed that they were going to do a plastic pollution project in which they were taking the plastic waste and converting it into art. But let's not let it come to that. Let's take more steps to avoid plastic and all sorts of pollution, especially in the fresher ecosystems of the earth. Alright, so I'll get back to Avatar, and since you've been watching so far, thank you, and I hope that you understand what I'm saying. Alright, thank you so much, and let's move on with the movie. Alright, so one more thing that they have co-opted or appropriated from Indian culture is Amrit, and yet they pronounce it Amrita. Now, this tendency to add a vowel at the end of Hindi words, I don't know where it comes from, and I might look into it later, but it irks me a lot, because if you're taking something from a different language, why don't you use it as it is supposed to be used rather than putting your own Western twist on it? So the same thing applies to a lot of like the Mahabharata or the Ramayana. It should be Ramayana and Mahabharata and Avatar and Amrit. So, and by the way, the whale hunting thing that they have shown in Avatar, The Way of Water, is absolutely atrocious, and I think it's a clear reflection of how we, especially in the Pacific, do whale hunting, and it's absolutely abhorrent and should be abolished. I don't know the economics of it, but that's what I feel. Alright, on with the show. I think we are into the final fight sequence, and this is going to be awesomax. Also, the scientist guy who has a bit of a conscience about the whale hunting is played by Jermaine Clement, half of the Flight of the Conchords duo, and it was absolutely awesomax to see him in such a role in such a movie, because he is a funny guy, and his repertoire I did not know extended to such roles. But also I will say that I first thought it was Benicio del Toro because they look a little alike, but I guess that's what stereotype casting does. Alright, on with the show. Okay, so I guess that wraps it up for Avatar, The Way of Water, and very entertaining. Final thoughts, it's got a good message about staying close to nature, and I guess that was true of the first Avatar as well, but they've taken it a level deeper, pun intended. Alright, so I'm going to watch through the credits to see if there's any sort of a Marvel type post-credit scene or something like that. And they have left the way open for a third movie, because the main villain Quaritch is still out there, saved by his son, who takes the place of the lost son of our hero Jake Sully actually. Alright, so the story of a jarhead turned a Navi turned a Metkayin or Metyakin continues. Maybe that's a take on a mermaid species, but alright, all in all, overall a bit of a downer at the end, but then again I didn't expect it to be a out and out funny movie, and the graphics, of course, as expected, were spectacular. So with that spectacle done, I will only add something to this review if there is a post or mid-credit scene. Thank you so much for watching. We are the Akshats. This is Advitya, who is fast asleep. I am Aradhye, and smash that sub button for awesomax fun. Do check out my other videos. Good night, take care, stay safe.